How's it going, everybody? My name is Loxavian, and today, making this video, I tried live streaming, but I made the mistake of using the built-in YouTube streaming utility stuff, and it came out terribly. The bitrate was way too low. So I'm just gonna make a quick video on kind of what I did during that stream, because you can't even see what I was doing. So we basically added some doors, and I was in the process of making the key to unlock this door, so that you can get to the boss room here. Basically, I just made these empties here and put them right here so that you can rotate the door on this pivot. Then I animated these empties so that the doors actually open. This empty right here is just a way to move the entire door. The logic that I put into it, the player collides with the door, you have the E key, and this little bounding box right here is what the player collides with to open the door. And then there's a property on this collider, and it's just door open. This makes it so you can't open and close the door over and over. Pretty easy stuff. And then also goes to a property that will assign the value to 1 so the door can't be opened. I put in these little traps here, these little spike traps. When the player walks onto them, these spikes will come out and do about 50% damage to the player. Basically, the way these work, basically the player collides with this little panel here, and it will send some information to basically just turn on the action for the trap. Then once the spikes come up, it has a bounding box right here that has a property that's called trap damage. So when the player collides with trap damage, it will deal 50% damage to the player. I was also mentioning how I changed the camera angle so it's directly behind the player now. You can also still go into first person, but now this makes it a little bit easier to maneuver around the map. I also gave the player a sword. This will be the starter weapon for the game. And it has a basic attack, and if you hold down the left mouse button, it will do a double swing, so back and forth. So we can walk up to the trap. You'll see if I walk onto it, it'll come up and deal 50% damage. And if I go to the door, I can open the door and go through, fight this enemy. The next step is we are going to be getting this key so the player can pick it up and open this door. So right now, even if I press the E key, I cannot get through this locked door. And you can see that it has a little keyhole on it that door does not have. So we'll have to pick up this key. Take this key, and I'm going to duplicate it. Go 90 degrees on the Z-axis here. In fact, let's get be -90. Then we're going to place this key in front of the player here, and we'll do a little action. So let's go to animation here, select our player armature, go into pose mode, select this arm, and we're going to make a new action here. So let's just make new action. Then we'll just delete everything. Delete all this stuff, don't need it. The other bones, in fact, I think this is all for the upper half. We're going to be doing some blending between, so the legs can still play while the character is just animating, because we actually want to keep all this stuff while the player's holding the key, so you can still attack and it's not going to look all funky. So we'll just click on this arm, and we'll go, in fact, actually, this action, I want to delete the keyframes for all of this stuff. Now we only have the keyframes for this arm. It's very important. Now that we have that, we can take this key, go to our physics, make it a no collision, and then parent it to this arm. Parent by bone. That way the key will move around with the arm now. So we'll just go _50 and F. So we know how many frames it is, so we don't forget. Then let's go back to game logic. Click on this. And we will say, we'll add a new property, holding key. So when the message holding underscore key, then we'll take that and it'll be our message. Copy that so we don't forget it. Connect these two together and say assign holding key to 1. This will be pretty important because we're going to want to connect this key to this property. So now we're going to go to our main character collision box here. Then we'll say collision with key. We will send a message. In fact, we'll also be fancy about it. We'll go keyboard, and we'll make it so you press E to pick up the key. Then we just paste our holding key message in here. And then we can also go to this key and say, give it a property, and we'll just call this viz for visibility, make it an integer, and say property. We'll actually add two properties. Property viz is equal to 0, and if property viz is equal to 1. Then we can say visibility. If it is equal to 0, the key will be invisible, and if it is equal to 1, the key will be visible. Now we'll say message, put our holding key, and set property, assign viz to 1. Then for future, we're going to add another message, and we're going to say not underscore holding key. Copy this. Then we will add another property, assign viz to 0. This will effectively make our key visible and invisible in our hand. So if I press play, get our little loading screen, and there is no key in our hand. Let's click on our key object here that we have in our scene. Say property, give it our key property, like so. Then if we walk up to our key, oh, nothing happens. What did I do? Click on our character bounding. What happened? Key is right. Maybe I just forgot to press E. Like a noob. Pick up our key, and the key pops up in our hand. But we also want to make it so our key animation will play. So we'll go to our armature here. So message holding key, and that is going to set our property holding key to 1. And if the property, we'll add another property here. So property holding key, we'll set if it's equal to 1, add an action, and then say player holding key 50 frames, and we'll set this to loop stop. We'll set this to layer 1. So if I walk up to our key, pick it up, and our key action is playing. Now we have our little kind of bob. We can see it in first person here. And we can still attack. And kind of our action kind of moves with it. So we'll also add a property. We'll add a new message. This new message will say, not holding key. This will trigger a property. And this property will say, holding key equals to 0. Assign it to 0. We won't have to worry about it anymore. This is also going to allow us to drop the key wherever we want. We're going to take this key and we're going to duplicate it. So we're going to have our physical key in the area, and then this key is going to be our throwable key. In fact, let's actually put in our properties here. So collision plus E will end in ending object. Now we can pick up the key and it will no longer be in our scene, but it will be in our hand. There we go. Right now we have door trigger collision with key, then it will open the door. In fact, if the player wanted to, the player could, instead of picking up the key right now, walk over to the key and push the key over to the door, and then press the E key and it'll open the door. So what we'll want to do is make it so key underscore hand, key in hand will open the door. So we'll just connect this to this and add a spawn object. Then we can go to our kind of spawn area for all of our attacks. And we will take center, add a mesh cube. This will be our key opening thing. Give this a rigid body. And we'll say property, key in hand. This will be effectively our key box here. We'll just give this the same name, key in hand. Select our world, everything in it. Go back to our empty and key in hand. Spawn it for, we'll go 3 frames, and we will connect it. It is visible. Then we'll also say keyboard. Oh yeah, here's what we'll do. Disconnect this. Not like that. Property, visibility is equal to 1. Connect this to that. Disconnect that. Now it will spawn if the E key is pressed and it's equal to 1. When the door is open, player message. So it will set the property to 1 and send the message. I gotta actually click on this stuff again. Not holding key. Send the message, not holding key. And this will make it so the player will drop, basically the key will disappear once the player uses it on the door. So let's play the game. Very convoluted, but it just works. So, no key in hand, can't open the door. Let's go pick up our key. And you can see that our key spawning is right here. Now if we walk up to the door, we can open the door and our key disappears. And the door opens. And we can't spawn any more keys. Key just doesn't open anything else up. Let's fight these bad boys. Come on. There we go. Pick up our coins and we can just walk through this door. There we go. Now we're just properly exploring a dungeon. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you liked the video. If you did, leave a comment. If you really enjoyed the video, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next video.